Good morning, everybody. I'm Kyle Johnson from Graspit Technologies, a mechatronics-based company in Charleston. We work with integrating electrical components into mechanical systems. One of the problems that we're trying to solve is to provide low-cost, human-like robotics to the industries. So like I said, our problem is to find a more effective and efficient way to provide these robotics for these different industries, and I'll get into that in a little bit. So our hand itself is 3D printed from CAD files. It's wirelessly controlled through a robotic control glove. So essentially, a glove will be worn by the user, and when he moves his fingers, the hand will mimic those motions, and it's done wirelessly through Bluetooth through our different breadboards and coding boards. It's replaceable, so each part is printed separately, so each finger will be printed separately, so if a part breaks, it can be replaced. It's easy. Each finger and joint is connected by pins that are easily retracted and put back in, and it's low cost. The total cost of this product is roughly $350 without labor cost. The Arduino boards requires 2 Arduino boards, and the 3D printed can be done through various sources. So some potential markets we've been looking into is the defense industry. Reported by Markets and Markets Research and Markets Business Insider, the defense industry for robotics will grow to $30 billion by the year 2022. Also, the manufacturing industry is reported to grow to $71 billion by the year 2023, and that's from Markets and Markets Research and then Allied Markets Research. So a lot of money out there for these different markets. We've also looked into prosthetics, but we haven't gotten that far because some of the technology just isn't there yet. So what makes us better? Most companies that sell robotic hands for industry and the defense market use 3 fingers, 2 fingers, a thumb, and it's more of a claw. So our hand provides all 5 digits, a palm, and gives that human-like feel. So if a task requires full hand movements to grab something, to pick it up, to move it, it could do that. It's low cost, like I said, and each part is replaceable. The hand itself takes roughly 2 days to print everything, so each part can be done on multiple printers. And it's interchangeable, so with the replaceable parts, you can interchange it, so you don't have to buy the whole hand again. You can just replace whatever is needed. What gave us this idea is one of our team members serves in the Army, and over one of his summer trainings, he was with a chemical unit, and in his chemical unit, they were in a vehicle that was vacuum sealed for protection, and they had what is used as sleeves. So the soldier would put his arm through a sleeve and would grab for any of the hazardous materials. The problem with that is these sleeves can be punctured and could contaminate the vehicle and harm the soldiers. So one of the uses for this is to place it on the outside of that vehicle with possibly attaching a camera, and the soldier can control it wirelessly in the vehicle without harming any of his fellow soldiers. So our team is filled with 4 mechanical engineers. We're currently working on getting a business member to help us with our business plan. Ash Harwood, I'm Kyle Johnson, Walter Metcalf, and Hunter Cox, and we are all senior mechanical engineers at the Citadel. Are there any questions?
Oh yeah, we're going to have plenty over here. All right, panelists. Dave, you want to start us off?
Sure. So in the use case you described, it was a situation where the surgeon could not expose himself or risk exposing more people to a closed environment that was contaminated, right?
Yes, sir.
And then, so what is a use case in manufacturing?
Most manufacturing processes use automation, robotic automation to move parts, assemble parts, and like I said, with the claw, using 3 fingers, it could get messed up. We could cut down time by allowing a human to himself control it and move it and possibly automate it into different products. So only one user could use and control 4 hands and speed things up.
Oh, I see. Okay, so it's not just one hand. I was saying, why can't that user just go in there and do it? So if it's controlling multiple units, okay. In both scenarios, obviously, if this only costs $350 and you're going to sell it for X amount, I mean, in order to really create a viable business at scale, you know, to make it a multi-million-dollar business, you have to sell a lot of those. So, I mean, in the military example, for instance, how do you scale? Like, how do you give me some information on the business model as far as volumes that is needed
with
out
the
there?
military, in the 4 different branches, each branch usually typically has their own EOD and chemical units, and each base is assigned with one of those units, and all the bases around the country and around the world. And this product could be used in each one of those units. We don't have the exact numbers, probably some of them are classified, but each base has a chemical unit, EOD unit, and that's stateside and abroad.
Okay, but about how many units though?
Right now, we've looked into each unit getting 10 to 15 hands per unit, and then if they need more, replace them.
So how many total?
I mean, are there 1,000 units, 100 units, 10,000 units?
As of right now?
Yeah.
No, sir. This is the only unit we have. We just
No, I
recently-
mean these bases or
Potential buyers.
the locations.
So how
that
many
buy the-
bases would you guess there are?
We start out locally, state of South Carolina, Georgia, North Carolina, and then move on to different bases. So we're looking into Joint Base Charleston, Fort Bragg, Fort Jackson, Air Force Base Moody, some of those places, and then selling products 10 to 15 to those, and then expanding to more if they need more.
Have you had a chance to go to any of those bases yet and demonstrate the product and
No, sir.
get their reaction?
No, sir. We're currently still in. This is a prototype hand. As of right now, we're still working on getting the coding finalized. The base code is there. It's trying to get it to function with itself, and then connecting it through Bluetooth.
Gotcha.
So are there different, this is plastic?
Yes, this is 3D printed. Right now, this is just a 3D printed filament. We're looking into a Nylon X carbon filament, and we're currently printing that hand right now.
And that's going to cost more than the three?
The filament for that is $65 for the filament, but the filament could produce 2 to 3 hands.
Okay. And have you looked into seems like it'd be useful across like the medical, field with even chemicals and things like that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We've looked into the medical field, but some of the technology that's required. We've also looked into implementing this hand into a prosthetic, but the technology just isn't there right now.
And what's your next step?
Our next
what
step.
do you need to do next?
Our next step is to get a business major from the school or a business partner to help us with getting our plan and finding some of these markets and marketing the product.
Okay.
Hmm.
Any questions from the audience?
Okay.
Does the audience have any questions? Yes.
How far do you project it to be want to
Right now, it's in a range of 10 to 15 feet. That's just done through the Bluetooth on the circuit board. But in the future, possibly with Wi-Fi, it could be done 100, 200 feet, and that's with the Wi-Fi.
So if you're in a battlefield,
As of right now, with the Bluetooth, yes, sir.
Have you got haptics built into this device?
Not to this device, sir. We've looked into it. One of the things that we're currently developing and looking at right now is when the hand closes on, say, an object, the hand doesn't know when it's going to crush that object. So looking into putting haptic sensors onto the inside of the fingers so that when a certain force is applied to that object, the robot itself will stop and prevent that from happening.
Can I ask one more question?
Yes, absolutely.
So you said most of them are claw-like. Are there any other ones that are hand-like?
There are, but they're not 3D printed. Most of them are different types of metals and alloys, and those are used in prosthetics.
And what do you how have you validated the fact that cost is an issue? That's one of the things you're talking about is having a low cost alternative. But is that the reason why these other competitors aren't able to sell? Is cost really an issue? Or how do you?
I'm not sure that cost is the issue. This is just a lower cost because it's 3D printed, so it could be used in these hazardous environments. So the user isn't afraid of something being damaged or them having to replace a very expensive part. With the 3D printed, it's fairly cheap, so it could be it's expendable essentially for these different users.
Okay.
Got one more back there.
Have you begun the patent process? Do you have anything protected with it?
We're currently looking into it. We've done some research on trying to find if there are any patents. We haven't found anything yet. We're currently looking into patenting the 5-finger 3D printed.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Kyle Johnson with Graspit.